Hey there, I'm Jay Malone. Welcome to another issue of Passive Profits. This is Sunday Deep Dive edition number 20. Today we're talking about your newsletter's first $100,000, hopefully in less than 1 year. Welcome to Passive Profits. The mission here is to help current and aspiring founders win back time and freedom by productizing your expertise into offers you build once and sell forever. Hey founder, a couple years ago, I started hearing about people building newsletter businesses. Seeing those three words together was confusing and interesting. My consulting business at the time had a newsletter for years. At one point, we had nearly 20,000 subscribers. But I only treated it like a channel to teach, inspire, and pepper our audience with updates and offers. Operating the newsletter like a business? Never heard of it. Then I started taking notice of several solopreneurs and full-timers with side hustles who claimed to be building their newsletter business. I followed casually, never thinking much of it, until I started looking into the numbers. Lightning struck for me last August. I had the idea to launch Passive Profits. I would build it on top of a newsletter. But what I thought I'd do with this newsletter since launch continues to evolve. From a tool I use to write and share valuable content to the foundational linchpin of my business. In today's post, I'm showing you how I'm building and growing my newsletter into the hub of my online creator business. If you're building a media business with a newsletter or considering it, I hope it gives you some actionable ideas to test out. You'll learn 1, the 6 monetized spokes or channels of my free newsletter hub, 2, projected revenue per channel. I'm targeting 100K by the end of the year in 2024. Experiments I'm running, number 3, experiments I'm running to build and iterate these channels. And I hope you stick around and read till the end or listen to the end, where I'm going to share a live learning event I'm co-hosting called How to Make Your First 100,000 with Your Newsletter. Over the next 2 Sunday deep dives, we're going to break down the 6 ways I'm monetizing this newsletter. Part 1 today includes 1, premium subscriptions, 2, newsletter referrals, 3, sponsorships. And then part 2, next Sunday, March 10th, 4 is impulse low ticket products, 5, commitment or mid ticket products, and then 6, exclusive or high ticket products. For each channel, I'll also provide revenue projections. Keep in mind, one pivotal factor of your monetizable newsletter is subscriber count. I'm currently at 303 subscribers with the goal of 5,000 by end of year. So today's projections will be based on that growth timeline, assuming some degree of churn. One note, my newsletter runs on Beehive. Most of the same monetization capabilities exist on ConvertKit, Ghost, and Substack, I think. Here goes. All right, channel number 1, premium subscriptions. A premium subscriber refers to people who join your newsletter and pay a recurring fee. That fee provides access and/or exclusive content above and beyond what free subscribers receive. I had planned to wait until 2025 to roll this out. When I asked myself why, the answers were flaky. I was waiting till my newsletter was better, till I had figured out more stuff, till I had a larger audience. I additionally stalled by laboring over a quote I've heard Alex Hormozi say, "The longer you wait to make your ask, the greater your leverage." I 100% agree with that, and I can also spot my own bullshit. In truth, I was using it as an excuse to hide out behind perfectionism. But the longer I wait, the longer it takes to learn what's working versus not. A couple weeks ago, I woke up in the middle of the night, that happens a lot, and remembered another Hormoziism. Make them an offer so good your customers feel crazy saying no. It actually feels stupid saying no, but that kind of feels insulting. Later that day, I launched my premium subscription offer, Passive Profits Pro. I went from worrying if I was ready to charge to worrying that my offer was so good I was going to lose my shirt. It was that uncomfortable feeling of, is this too much? That's when I knew I was nearing that golden rule of creating an offer that feels like 10x value. I've iterated a bunch since, and will a lot more. Here's what premium looks like today. How I'm monetizing. By the way, there's a screenshot of my premium offer. if you want to check it out. How am I monetizing? Monthly there's 2 tiers. Monthly at $10 per month. That includes 1 coaching session, access to a private community, my Wednesday Nugget emails, and a humble offer to support my work. Or there's an annual tier at $100 per year, which includes everything in monthly plus an additional coaching session, a newsletter shout out, and a 17% discount versus monthly. Revenue projections. Based on my research, premium subscribers typically account for 3 to 5% of your total subscribers. To keep conservative, especially in this first year, I'm using 2%. Assuming everyone opts for the cheaper annual plan of $100 versus the $120 for monthly, here's some napkin math of how I see my premium subscription channel growing this year. What I included is a sort of timeline breakout in a Google Sheet to show month over month growth of my premium subscriptions, which ends at $10,000 cumulative revenue by the end of 2024. In addition to the small bump in revenue, I'm also developing and deepening relationships with my audience. During the included coaching calls, I'm helping these people accomplish their goals and break through their challenges. At the same time, I'm also learning about their ideas, opinions, biases, questions, hopes, and fears. Those insights help me produce helpful, valuable content in future newsletter issues. And some of those coaching clients will go on to buy my additional programs and products. Okay, number 2, newsletter referrals. Have you ever watched a trampoline act? The performers use something called the double bounce effect to jumpstart their bouncing. It works by 1 to 2 performers transferring their kinetic energy to a third performer. As they do, the third performer gains 2 to 3 times the elastic energy they'd have versus if they were jumping on their own. There's a couple images to show what this looks like from, of course, a Cirque du Soleil performance, my favorite circus act. Once the third performer has launched, they now have ample elastic energy to help performers 1 and 2 get bouncy. They transfer back some of their energy to help launch performers 1 and 2. All 3 have launched faster and higher by working together. This outcome is exactly the intent with newsletter referrals. Let's look at how it works. So newsletter operator 1 transfers their kinetic energy to newsletter operator 2 by referring their subscribers to operator 2. In Beehive, that's mechanized through their recommendation feature. Most recommendations happen during sign up. For example, when someone subscribes to Passive Profits, they see 5 other newsletters I'm currently recommending. There's a visual of the 5 newsletters that I recommend as of today. You can also add newsletters. So in addition to adding them at sign up, you can also add newsletter recommendations within your newsletter issue. Here's a real example of what that looks like. Actually, if you click on this, you will subscribe to Newsletter Circle. Whether during sign up or in issue, whenever someone subscribes to one of these newsletters I recommend, that operator can see they came from Passive Profits. For example, I've sent 5 subscribers to Pure Procurement. In return, that's hard to say, Pure Procurement has agreed to refer subscribers back to Passive Profits. They've actually sent me 44 subscribers. Amazing. Mutual recommendations like this are more attractive because they feel right and fair versus a one-sided referral relationship. That's why it's important for both sides to have similar audiences, not just interests, but size of audience too. How I'm monetizing. Now that we've covered the mechanics of recommendations, let's talk about monetizing them. Let's look again at the newsletters Passive Profits recommends. There's 2 up at the top, and there's a little sign that says sponsored. That means Marketers in Demand and MGMT Playbook pay me to recommend their newsletter. Profitable newsletters or otherwise cash-rich newsletters like these 2 can grow faster by paying to get their newsletters in front of your audience. These monetized recommendations within Beehive are referred to as boosts. Sparkloop is an alternative third-party referral platform. Because it's email platform agnostic, It allows you to recommend newsletters on any platform, Beehive, ConvertKit, or otherwise. Allegedly, payouts are slightly lower than if you use Beehive's native boosts. Revenue projections. Of the 3 monetization channels we're covering today, newsletter referrals is one I've spent the least amount of time on so far. As a result, my payouts have been negligible. So far, I made $20.40. Within Beehive's online community that I'm a part of, I've heard from many operators that referrals are a must for early subscriber growth and monetization. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I plan to ramp up efforts here. Again, more subs equals more leverage. At 1,000 subs, I'll be able to court larger newsletters that pay a higher CPA, that's cost per acquisition, or CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions. To wrap up newsletter referrals, I'm keeping projections conservative. I ballpark to make $500 in 2024 and a fair amount more in 2025. Okay, the third and final monetization channel we're going to cover today is sponsorships. I'll preface this section by saying that I'm actively studying newsletter sponsorships. This week alone, while writing this issue, I spent roughly 20 hours researching. At 303 subs, it's a little premature for me to attract the right quality sponsors. But I really like the idea of sponsorships for this newsletter. It means I can keep much of the content free. So I'll continue to study and report back to you what I'm learning and adopting, because it's evolving rapidly. In 2018, sponsorships were barely a thing. By 2020, they represented a blue ocean for operators or publishers like us to cash in from swooning brands. All you needed to do was flash a 40% or higher open rate and a 6% or higher CTR or click-through rate, and brands would throw ad dollars at you. In 2024, it's not only a crowded market, you need to have your shit together to attract and maintain quality sponsorships. Based on my research, here are some loose guidelines I've surmised about your publishing leverage in proportion to your subscriber count. So when you're at 1,000 to 5,000 subscribers, you're hustling to win your first sponsors. You're probably better off focusing more of your time and energy on newsletter referrals. At 5,000 to 10,000 subs, you're still hustling, but beginning to attract sponsors at varying quality. 10,000 to 30,000 subs, quality sponsors are coming inbound, paying you decent CPAs and or CPMs. 30,000 to 50,000, you're demanding higher CPAs, CPMs from quality sponsors. And 50,000 and up, for the right sponsor, you're in the driver's seat. But subscriber count is not the end-all be-all. During my research this week, I had the opportunity to talk with a couple brand side marketers. They shared that subscriber count is a conversation starter. However, audience fit and subscriber engagement are equally important. They said that smaller lists with super engaged audiences can sometimes be more attractive than huge lists with ho-hum engagement. Ho-hum meaning kind of average. In fact, a large media brand reached out to me to sponsor my little newsletter. It wasn't a great audience match, and the CPA was tiny, but I agreed to it because it was a chance to experiment and learn. This is from a couple issues back. So subscriber count matters, but not too much. By the way, during this week's upcoming Wednesday Nugget, I'm going to share some really interesting, exciting gems that I picked up while I was talking with the 2 brand marketers that I mentioned above. Keep a lookout for that. Okay, quality sponsors. I've dropped that phrase a couple times so far. So far we've covered what you need to do as a publisher to attract quality sponsors. Let's now define quality, because it's certainly more than a brand with money to throw around. While operating New Haircut, I was able to secure some attractive brand partnerships. My criteria was simple. I partnered with brands that I respected, I had built a relationship with, whose products and services I used and trusted, whose products and services were relevant to my audience needs. But according to Justin Moore, a sponsorship coach to some big name founder creators, my criteria above is merely table stakes. More accurately, it's a bit limited and self-serving. Quality isn't just about who you want to partner with. In the end, you're here to serve your audience. So your readers, fans, followers, and customers should also have a say. Justin recommends asking your audience questions like, one, what kinds of products do you need? Do you wish I offered but don't yet? Two, what brands and products do you use and love right now? Three, who would you love to see me collaborate with? By the way, expect a survey with these questions in the near future. If I only filter Passive Profit sponsors through my criteria, I'll limit it to creator tools, newsletter platforms, and online course builders. On-the-nose sponsors like these are good, sure, but maybe you're also looking for tools to improve focus and productivity, AI video editors, or web design services. I won't know till I ask. How I'm monetizing. One of the thought exercises I forced myself to do while planning out my sponsorship strategy was build out a storefront on Passionfruit. There is a visual of my Passionfruit storefront if you want to check it out. Passionfruit provides creators with a platform to sell sponsorship packages to brands. I created 3 packages. One is a featured placement for $400. The brand gets a dedicated spot at the top of the issue, newsletter issue that is, where I weave a contextual and personalized write-up into the newsletter. The brand gets featured, but not in a way that disrupts my reader's experience. A corner call out for $50. Toward the bottom of each Sunday newsletter is a section called Founder Creator Corner. A brand can pay to advertise 1 to 4 of the text-based links included. To date, including today, those links have been organic, i.e. not sponsored. And then 3, the corner takeover for $200. You're basically buying all 4 spots. This package buys the brand the entire Founder Creator section with the addition of an included image. Like everything I'm doing, these packages will evolve a bunch. You know, I'm thinking as I'm reading this that I'm probably going to update this because it feels like if you take over the whole space and don't have to compete and I let you add an image, that should be worth more than just buying 4 of the individual things. Anyway, I might work on that. Okay, revenue projections. It's premature for me to have precise numbers. Still, I hope by sharing my experiments and research, you leave today with aha moments and practical takeaways. Here are my projections for my 2024 sponsorship revenue. Again, another sort of Excel table with what I plan to make on a month by month. And the net is by the end of the year, I've got a projected revenue of $6,350 from sponsorships. I consider these to be realistic in terms of inventory sold. And by inventory, I mean when a sponsor buys a spot, an ad placement in your newsletter issue. But I consider the revenue to be conservative, as I will almost indefinitely increase my package prices and add or update the packages. All right, so let's tally up today's 3 channels. Here's a recap of the 3 monetization channels we covered today. Premium subscriptions was estimated to make around $10,000, newsletter referrals $500, and sponsorships $6,350 for a total of $16,850. Now, to hit my goal of $100,000 within my first year of business, I'll need to generate around $84,000 elsewhere. Next Sunday, we'll look at my plans to do that with owned products. Those are my impulse, commitment, and exclusive products. And by the way, this weekend, I actually started working on my first impulse product, an online course to teach you how to build courses, probably. That will drop in May, so I'll definitely be sharing more about that and taking you behind the scenes to show you how I built it, of course. Okay, and so good news. One of my existing owned products has already generated $1,500. We're on our way. So now, before we wrap up today's edition, I want to announce a live training that I'm doing. It's called Make $100,000 with Your Newsletter. I've learned so much about building and monetizing newsletters the past 5 months, but I'm still in the early stages. I'm working toward my first $100,000, not $10 million, not $1 million, or even $500,000. And I think that makes for the perfect time for me to show others who are also working toward their first 6-figure milestone, because I'm actively doing it today. like there's others that are making 7 and 8 figures that teach you how to build your first course, but it's been years since they actually did it. So I think it's fair, and I think it's a great opportunity for me to show you how I'm building it today with today's tools, all the trends that are happening now, and everything that I'm learning now. And I'm super excited because my new friend Siler will be co-hosting this with me. Siler operates Newsletter Circle, where she publishes deep dives on building newsletters. They're amazing. She's interviewed about 50 different creator, operator, founders like me, but further ahead, and some kind of at my level, but a lot that are further ahead. She's interviewed about 50 of them. She gives real deep dives to show strategies, building and growth strategies behind some great newsletters. To be added to the waitlist and receive more info, just drop your email in here and we will keep you posted when dates and everything else becomes available. Okay, that's it. So there's some links down in the Founder Creator Corner, and a shout out to Caitlin, Delilah, Haley, Jackie, and 27 other founders that joined this week. Thank you. It's great to have you here. We are at 303. And that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stick around next week, come back, and we're doing monetization channels 4, 5, and 6. All right, see you then. Peace.